Hello and welcome back to Penny for Your Thoughts podcast, where we review movies, TV shows, etc. Today, since last week we did a movie review about Eternals, I thought this time we would do a TV show. And since it's a TV show, I thought maybe I'd talk about two separate series in this segment. The first show I'm going to talk to you about is The Witcher. I currently am on season 1. There's 2 seasons right now on Netflix. I'm about a little over halfway with season 1. And I gotta say, I really like it. It's very different. There's a lot of creatures, fantasy creatures that just, you haven't seen in a lot of movies or other TV shows in a while. It first came out on December 20th, 2019. And they did already do the green light for a 3rd season, so that's something to look forward to if you've already been watching it. Right now, it's in the top 10 in the US for popular shows, which is really cool. Without spoiling anything, I'm just going to tell you the very basic of what The Witcher is about before I spoil things. Because there are spoilers in my reviews because I'm telling you guys what I like about them and all that kind of jazz. So this is the non-spoiler version. The Witcher is about a mutated monster hunter who struggles to find his place in a world in which people often prove more wicked than the beasts. Now that is as generic as it's going to be now. So if you do not want any spoilers, stop watching. Now, when I first started watching this series, I actually had no idea what the show was about. I just, didn't catch my eye on Netflix when I was scrolling on what to watch. But once I started and I realized who the main character was, Geralt, aka Superman, I was very impressed by his performance because it is so different compared to what I know him for, being Superman and being, slick hair and very country, good guy, completely different than The Witcher, who is definitely just a bad, I can't say the word because I don't want to, curse or anything, but he's cool. He's one character that definitely confused me at first watching the series first season is Yennefer. Yennefer was a hunchback, deformed witch, and later on in the season, she turns into this amazing boss lady and beautiful, and it's really one of the most intense scenes ever. But I digress. But I was really confused as to the beginning when she first was shown. She was just automatically, you knew she was a witch, but then in witch school, she was the lowest. And then literally within 1 episode, she was the best. So I was very confused when it came to that. There's a lot of things I like about the show, and there's a lot of things that I don't like. For example, what I like about the show is that, the Witcher, Geralt, he is very the monsters are not as big as monsters as people are. Which in, life right now, people are freaking bullies. And so I kind of agree with them. Maybe that makes me a negative Nancy, but there's not a lot of human kindness going on right now. People like to say there is, but there really isn't. I can get into it, but I'm not going to. I'm just saying. One thing that I am so disappointed with is Ciri. Ciri is the princess of the queen who pretty much, she lost her entire family, she lost her kingdom, but supposedly, The Witcher is her destiny. That's what she's always been told. And for a lot of episodes, they don't tell what it is. So my entire guess throughout these episodes, before they explain what Ciri is to The Witcher, was that maybe she was his daughter, because it would have made more sense. She's a child. But no, she's freaking his bride-to-be. What? I'm upset because she is a child. She looks like she's 12, maybe 13. I don't know. She has a baby face and scrawny and just very child profile. And somehow her destiny with The Witcher is her being his wife. You just have to watch the series, but that part I'm so disappointed with, and I hope they change that because that's just weird. At least right now, as her, when they're showing present day her and him, her being a child, him being an adult man. It's just weird. But I do like the show. I personally would give it a 7.5, 8 out of 10, in between there. And it actually got 81% on Rotten Tomatoes, so it's a good show. Like, obviously, if they got 81%, you know, be very, very good. So, but take with that as you will. That is my review on The Witcher on Netflix, and if you want to check it out, I will leave a link down below. And like I said, guys, I've only watched one season, and not even the first full season. I think I watched about half of it. So I will eventually give you guys an update on my review about it later on once I've caught up, and yeah. Now this next series I'm going to talk about, I'm super excited because I'm obsessed with this show. Like, literally, me and my fiance watched the first entire season in one day. That, like, we both love the show, but I'm obsessed with the show. Now, what is the show? It is Ted Lasso. I've been told by multiple people, including my family, that this was a really good show and that I would enjoy it, but it's 2022, and the show came out in 2020. I waited 2 years to watch it, which is shameful because I love this show. It first came out on August 14th in 2020, and it is streaming on Apple TV. 2 seasons are already out, and thank goodness there's a 3rd season coming out too, because I would be so disappointed if there wasn't. What I think is pretty cool about this show, nobody's really talking about it, at least not anymore, the way that they talk about The Witcher. And The Witcher, like I said, has 81% on Rotten Tomatoes. Ted Lasso, however, has 92%. So it's even better than The Witcher. Like, I would choose Ted Lasso over The Witcher any day. Like, it's my new obsession. Like, it's just so good. Now, I'm gonna give you the basic summary, so that way I don't do any particular spoilers. But here's the basic summary of the show. An American football coach is hired to manage a British soccer team. What he lacks in knowledge, he makes up for in optimism, determination, and biscuits. Now, this is the spoiling part, so if you're not interested in spoilers, then you can skip the rest of this review and just come back to it after you've watched the first season. I find it very funny that they put the biscuits in the summary of the show, because it's such a adorable big part of it, because he is having these mornings with his boss, and it's super cute. It's literally every morning of every episode he's bringing her biscuits. It's awesome. What I really think makes this show so different and so unique is almost all of the characters are down to earth. But Ted Lasso in particular, the coach, he is the most optimistic person, and just like, he's going through some hard stuff. Like, he's going through a divorce. He tried to work on his marriage, and then he ends up going through a divorce, and he still manages to be the best, like, good guy. Like, it's crazy. It's really crazy how good of a guy he is, and I'm obsessed with him. And it's not just the coach. It's not just the main character. Literally all the supporting characters, they all have amazing personalities, amazing backstories. It's so different. Like I said, Ted, the coach, he tried to work out his marriage, but he ends up getting divorced, and he still manages to be a good guy. He knew nothing, absolutely nothing about soccer. He coached American football, and then he went to England to coach soccer, football, over there, and he knew absolutely nothing about it. But he is an amazing team builder, and he made an amazing team. Then you have his boss, Rebecca, the person who hired him. Now, the whole reason why she hired him was because she's going through a really ugly divorce. Like, her ex-husband is a total douchebag. He was controlling, he was manipulative, he cheated on her. Like, it was just really, really bad. And the only thing that she can do to get back at him is to take control over his soccer team and her plan was to burn it to the ground. And that's the whole reason why she hired an American football coach, because since he knew nothing about soccer, she thought it would be perfect to make the team just like... Now, in any other show, Rebecca would be this horrible bad guy person. Like, everybody would hate on her because she would be the bad guy of the show. But in the show, they make every character complex. Like, every character has a reason for what they're going through and why they act a certain way. And it's very human. The show is very human. I don't know how else to describe it. Even though Rebecca tries to destroy the soccer team, because Ted and along with other supporting characters, because they are so genuinely nice and caring and just amazing people, she completely, like, her cold heart melts. The divorce she's going through, everything she's going through, she realizes, you know, I'm taking it out on this amazing people, and it's stupid. And it's just, it's a lot. You watch the show. I guarantee, if you don't like this show, I don't know what's wrong with you. Let me just put it that way. Honestly, because this show I'm obsessed with. And how can you not like a show with good people in it? If you don't like it, it won't make sense to me. Another character I want to talk about really quickly is the second character that would also be, you know, the bad guy, the one that people don't like, and that is Jamie. Jamie's character is probably the most annoying of the show, but he has such a good reason behind it for why he is the way he is. And pretty much the gist of him, when you're watching the first season, you get irritated because he's very, very selfish. He, you know, when you're on a team, you're supposed to be for the team, not for yourself. And the way he is in the, you know, first half of the season, he is all about himself. He's a great player, he knows what he's doing, but he makes the team lack because the team could have been better if he was a team player. But the whole reason why he's so arrogant, I guess you can say, is because when he was a kid, he was pretty much raised by his mom, and his dad was never in the picture. But when he got into soccer, he was trying to make his mom proud. And then once he started winning, his dad came back into the picture, and he was just really, really harsh on him. And every time, and he would start, you know, bragging about how great his son was, that his son was, you know, the best on the team, whatever. And Jamie resented his father for that. But he's just, it's complicated. Like, the characters are messy in a good way, and I love it. Anyways, like I said, I watched the first season in one day with my fiance, like one day, and I'm actually really excited to watch the second season, and I'm gonna literally binge it right after I'm done filming here. Needless to say, I give this show a 10 out of 10, 5 stars. Like, I love this show. I could go on and on about the show because I genuinely love it. There's literally, I could talk about every single episode in depth, but I'm not gonna do that because, you know, if you guys haven't watched it, you probably won't be as into this review as I am, but I digress. Anyways, if you guys were interested in this review, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't yet, please subscribe. It really helps me out as a content creator, and, you know, I enjoy doing this, so have a great night, day, wherever you are.